Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Last night I found out about my husband's secret apartment and my friend went to it. Original post. My husband is on a trip with one of our sons and his brother to go visit their mother, my son's grandmother. I was cleaning up the den when an email notification popped up on his iPad. It was an email from an apartment complex that they were going to be temporarily closing down the hot water for repairs, sent from one of those automatic senders that you can't reply to. It was addressed to my husband with his first and last name. The thing is, we own our house. We haven't rented in over 10 years, and even then, it wasn't this place. Where my husband is, upstate New York, there isn't any service. I tried to send him a picture of the email, but it won't go through. I called him and spoke to him for a bit. Service was choppy, but I managed to explain to him about the email, and basically all he said is that it must be a mistake, and they had the wrong email. We weren't able to say much before the call just dropped, but if it was a wrong email, how would they have his first and last name all spelled correctly? For context, his first name is somewhat common, but our last name is not common, especially in this area. There weren't any other emails from this sender or about this apartment complex in my husband's emails, but he is also the kind who clears out his inbox as he gets messages. I sent a message to the apartment complex telling them that I think my husband was on their email list by mistake, but I just got an automatic email sent back that they were out of the office until November 20th, and then general rent information pricing. 1 bedroom, $1,600, 2 bedroom, $1,900, and that there were no open units available. There was no unit number on the email, but the complex is about 15 minutes away from our house, so I went and I drove by, which I guess might be a little crazy, I know. I didn't see anything, not like I knew what to expect. It's a group of buildings, less than 100 apartments in all. I don't have any reason to mistrust my husband, other than this weird email that gives me a strange feeling in the pit of my stomach, as well as a general feeling of paranoia that he's just been bored with me. I've been feeling this way for a little while, but he insists I'm imagining it and that he's happy. I only brought it up to him once, when I was feeling particularly insecure last year. We still do things together, he still tells me he loves me, etc. I just feel like he doesn't have as much fun with me as he used to, and like he looks for reasons to be out of the house or doing things specifically with the boys, instead of doing things with the whole family. It's not like it's something that bothers me every day, just something that I think about when I'm feeling insecure or paranoid, like in a situation like this where he gets an email from random apartment complex's law. Anyway, I don't know exactly what advice I'm looking for. I know the advice I would have for one of my friends would be to just talk to him, but I really can't do that until he comes home on Saturday, which is a really long time for me to sit with my intrusive thoughts. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Take the iPad to the apartment complex and see if it automatically connects to Wi-Fi. Then have your friend go knock on the door and ask for your husband, see who answers. You could Google his name and address. It's possible the address can show up and could show you who else is living there and possibly having mail sent. Also, with the email, perhaps check the archived. Also on the iPad, if you go to Privacy, Location Services, System Services, Significant Locations, all locations visited on devices connected to the same iCloud account will show up there, and you can see if this is a location that gets frequented. I was initially going to say it could be spam. I get those all the time and they sometimes include my first and last name. But the fact that the apartment exists and is only 15 minutes away makes it more real in my opinion. Has he ever gone for short or long periods of time? He does go on work trips occasionally, and he works long hours sometimes, but nothing that raised any red flags. Check his credit card or debit records from the dates of those work trips. Your friend got the apartment number. Go knock on the door. You know the only reason to have a secret apartment is a secret partner. Not the only reason. I had a friend who was preparing to tell his wife he wanted a divorce, but before he did, made sure he had an apartment to move into after the separation. The husband could be preparing to leave the marriage in secret and is just anticipating not having somewhere to live once she is served. That is true, though the problem remains that she's about to be blindsided with the end of, or a big blow to, her marriage. Now for the first update. I'm currently writing this on the ride upstate. Yesterday I posted about an email I had gotten on my husband's email from an apartment complex talking about fixing the water. My husband, who is upstate visiting his mother until Saturday, has next to no cell service, so I haven't been able to talk to him about any of this, other than saying that the email must have been a mix-up. My friend called and got his apartment number from the maintenance man. Both of us went over to the apartment and my friend knocked. A girl answered but didn't answer the door, just the bell camera. My friend said she was there looking for Adam. The girl said that Adam wasn't there, but wouldn't give her more information than that, which I get. My friend was just a total stranger at her door. When we left, I could see her looking out the apartment window at us. I tried to call my husband 1,000 times yesterday, and nothing went through. The few times the call did pick up, the service was so bad you could barely hear anything, so I'm headed upstate to confront him in person. I have a copy of the email, as well as a photo of the apartment, as well as a recording of the girl saying that Adam wasn't there, which is a confirmation to me that she knows him. If this is somehow all a big misunderstanding, I'm going to have my husband explain it to me in person instead of waiting until he comes home. I haven't gotten a chance to read all the comments, but I will go through them now and try to respond to what I can. I haven't slept, so I hope this makes sense. Edit. To everyone telling me that I should just wait, not confront him, talk to her first. He's my husband, he's the father of my children. If I'm going to find out that he's cheating on me, it is going to be from him. I'm going to say this for the last time. Please stop advising me not to go talk to my husband about this very serious situation that we are in. I will go talk to a lawyer if need be. However, we have been married for over a decade. We have a family and a life together. I am going to go talk to him. I understand what the situation probably is, and I understand that he's probably going to try to lie to me. I'm not a moron. Expect the worst, hope for the best. If cell service is so shoddy, wouldn't his mom have a landline to call? How do you communicate with his mom otherwise? Lol, really should have asked the girl if she knew Adam is married. We discussed doing this, but I would rather confront my husband than this woman. Just be prepared for him to lie through his teeth. Caught my ex-fiancée cheating, and she did her best to gaslight me till I told her I had all her Discord messages on her tablet that I had just finished fixing. Good luck to both of you. My advice is to let him think you know everything. Maybe mention something like, "Friend over there had a lovely chat with the young lady in the apartment. So how long have you known her?" Yes, letting them think you know everything works. Years ago, I was cheated on by my son's father. We were supposed to go out that day, but I had to cancel. But I called him anyway when I was free to talk and heard another girl in the background, whose voice I recognized as a mutual acquaintance. She messaged me later out of the blue, saying only nothing happened, so naturally I knew something had happened. I told her I already knew everything, and she immediately gushed out an apology and spilled every last bean. Threw him under the bus entirely, said he pressured her, and frankly, I believe her. When I told him I knew everything, he also ratted on himself with information he didn't know I didn't have. To add insult to injury, he had just borrowed money from me. It was to buy a new vibrator for her. Tell them you know, and they will tell on themselves. You can assume the girl is now trying to contact Adam to say some strangers were asking about him. Also, if she was using a doorbell to communicate with OP and her friend, there's a high probability he has access to the footage since those doorbells usually come with a camera. So, he may have a lot of preparation already done to possibly create a story and deny the truth. He probably called her after his wife called him, to tell her that if someone shows up, not to answer the door. I'm sure he made up some story to the paramour. They always do. That is of course only if she doesn't know about the wife. Now for the last update. I'm writing this from a hotel room. I went to confront my husband. He knew the minute my car pulled up what was going on. He came outside to meet me, and the first thing he said was, "Did you go to the apartment?" And I told him yeah. So then he said, "So I guess we have to have a talk," and again I said yeah. I'm not going to get into the exact details of it. It was a long talk, and it involved a lot of emotions. She is his girlfriend. They've been together for 4 months. She is under the impression that we are separated and going through the divorce process. His family wasn't aware of this, and his brother and mother, who were there, were horrified. I'm sorry, I don't have more to say. I've already contacted a divorce lawyer, a therapist, and a financial advisor. Thanks to everyone for your support. 4 months and he's already paying for an apartment. Sounds fishy, or he already had the apartment for his past girlfriends. It was absolutely his cheating pad, way before the girlfriend ever came along. In sugar dating, it's pretty common for the allowance and help with rent or bills etc. to start pretty early, sometimes after the second date. If he was her sugar daddy, then OP might have a financial claim to the marital assets he spent supporting the girlfriend. My ex-husband's homewrecker lost interest in him a few months after our divorce. Openly dating him wasn't fun anymore, plus she was juggling a few other guys too, and being full-time with my ex just wasn't working out for her. Long story short, she dumped him. I moved on to date the absolute hottest guys and never looked back. OP, all I can say to you is that there's hope. Let this loser go. You can find much better men. Trust me. Well, he can move into the apartment immediately. Yeah, guess he didn't really lie. They are going through a divorce. Hope he just had to do some detective work to find out about it. I have been checking back throughout the day hoping to see a more positive update, but you really sound like you've got yourself together for now. It's okay to not be okay when you get back home. Absolutely this. I can also understand she may be under shock with how everything played out. Hopefully, she will find herself with some time to decompress and feel her feelings. Sending OP some peace and healing for this whole debacle of a situation. Now for the last story. My 35 male, wife 33 female, is secretly receiving money from her ex who she was never married to. My wife of 3 years, with whom I have a 4-year-old son with, recently fell victim to a phishing attempt. Basically, she got an email that looked like it was from a department of a bank we used, saying there was a strange transaction that she needed to confirm. After she clicked on it, she realized that our iPad was probably hacked. Luckily, while we are both not very tech-savvy, my brother is, so he came over and said that he'd try to clear our devices of any malware and tell us what exactly is going on. After my brother had left, I was alone and decided to start clicking on all of our money apps to make sure nothing nefarious was going on with our accounts. Luckily, there did not seem to be anything missing from our bank accounts. However, I saw that there was a Western Union app installed, and it was installed in a pretty discreet corner of the iPad, like in a square with a few other random apps. I always associated Western Union with international transactions, so at the moment I thought that my wife definitely wasn't doing any of that, so maybe this was some machination of a hacker that my brother didn't catch. I clicked on the app, and everything was logged out. However, when I tried to type in both of our email addresses, the device keychain recognized my wife's email, and I got even more suspicious. I knew that most of her passwords were the same, so I got it right on the second try and I logged in. I was mind-boggled to see the transaction history that included several $1,000s, all of which happened before this whole hacking debacle. It showed that she was getting $2,000 at the beginning and the middle of the month, all from the same sender. I then went to the App Store and saw that under Cash App, it showed that the app had once been downloaded, but had probably recently been deleted. I re-downloaded it and logged in, and saw very clearly that the person sending money to my wife was her ex-boyfriend, and she had sent back notes saying thank you and then his nickname. They dated from when she was 24 to when she was 28. He is 49 years old, and they broke up because he got divorced young and did not want to marry again, and she realized he wasn't changing his mind. They never had any kids or properties together, nor was he cheating on somebody with her or keeping their relationship a secret, so it is honestly beyond me why he would need to have any more contact with her, especially now that he lives in Europe half of the time. I confronted my wife on this, and I told her that I thought that he was out of her life entirely, yet here she was sending messages to him with stars in her eyes, basically massaging his ego. I did not know what was going on. My wife said that she's sorry, and she didn't mean to, but they just kept in contact and became friendly exes. She said you know his type, he can be very charming when he wants to be, and sometimes he says something funny, or is depressed because of his line of business and wants to vent to somebody. She got upset when I told her I didn't accept that answer, because no joke is worth that much money, especially when it's being paid consistently every month. She finally admitted that she had told him that the business I was starting was losing money, and that I was only bringing home $45,000 a year after paying my employees, and that he told her the industry I was in, wholesale goods, was a tough one and too saturated with competition for me to turn a profit for a couple of years, or have any reasonable hope of succeeding. I had started this business 2 years ago after I lost my job, and my wife's graphic design business was also dead in the water. She said she had started venting to him about how we're falling behind on our bills, and he decided to help her out. She even said that he would tell me the same if I asked him. That later turned out to be a lie, and it was soon clear that her ex in no way wanted to contact me in any shape or fashion. This all happened a week ago, and I told her that I would give up my business and try to get another job, starting at the bottom if I had to, for the consistent income. But I did not want her accepting any more money from this guy, and trying to pass off part of it as money from her business which doesn't even have a functioning website anymore, and then her keeping the rest of it Lord knows where. But the more that I am left alone to think, the more that I cannot imagine sleeping in the same bed with my wife anymore. I do not know if I can ever trust her again, because she will not say anything except that she did not sleep with him, and that an ex would just give her money just to be his friend. In addition, I am getting the most dread-filled thoughts about the possibility that my son is not mine. That could explain everything very easily, and while I don't make the money her ex makes, we do have the same hair and eye color. What do I do? My wife keeps pleading with me that she'll stop accepting money and that I needed to trust her again, but I know she will flip out at the thought of a paternity test. I am living in misery. I thought I had a loving marriage to an honest woman. Even though we argued about the fact that she wanted our lifestyle to stay the same while I was building up my business, I thought we were communicating with each other. I also thought that the money she put in our accounts were from her graphic design business finally getting clients, but that was wrong as well. Now for the advice. My first thought was secret child support, after only reading the 4-year-old son married 3 years and the post title. She either lied to him and said it's his kid, and he doesn't want to be a parent so he agreed to this arrangement, or she's lying to you and saying it's her kid. To me, it's the only logical explanation. To add to the 4-year-old son, married 3 years, OP mentions his wife was 28 when her and the ex broke up. Wife is 33, meaning she was 29, and 1 year out of her old relationship when she had the child. I mean, get a paternity test done. She has shown she is untrustworthy. I agree, and he should get it done sooner rather than later. OP should also make up some other reason for the mouth swab, since I feel like 4 is old enough to remember it, if he tells the child what the mouth swab is for, which could really affect the child in the future. I say this from experience, though I was quite a bit older. Her reasons for him sending money are absolute BS. Who in their right mind would do that? So, are you thinking this money may be covert child support? I think this is the only reasonable expectation. It sure beats platonic virtual friendship and nostalgia. I have already contacted a place that does paternity tests.